Lucy Bennett hummed softly while sorting through metal scraps. Her hands moved quickly, separating copper from steel, aluminum from titanium. The waste reclamation bay smelled like oil and burnt circuits. 12 years old and already an expert at finding value in trash. Her father David worked nearby, his welding torch sparking bright blue. Meridian Crossing existed on the edge of known space, a trading post where dozens of alien species bought and sold. Humans like Lucy did the jobs others considered beneath them. A chittering sound made Lucy look up. Tikla scrambled toward her, the young Churik's 6 legs clicking against the metal floor. The insectoid alien was barely taller than Lucy, covered in shimmering green chitin. "Found something?" Tikla whistled through her mandibles. She held up a small data pad, cracked but possibly functional. "Your half or mine?" Lucy grinned. "Yours, I got that coolant pump yesterday, remember?" They had been friends for 2 years now. While adult Churik and humans kept polite distance, the youngsters found friendship easy. "Lucy Bennett," the voice cut through the bay like a knife, crystalline and cold. Overseer Holt stood at the entrance to the restricted cargo section. The Vorn's body resembled living glass, translucent and angular, beautiful and terrifying. The Vorn ran Meridian Crossing security, and they did not believe in mercy. "Yes, Overseer." Lucy stood straight, trying not to show fear. "You were seen near Cargo Bay 7 yesterday. That area is forbidden to your kind." "I was getting Tikla's toy back. It rolled under the door. I did not go inside, I just reached under." Holt's faceted eyes showed no emotion. The Vorn considered humans to be little more than useful vermin. "Come with me, now." David's welding torch shut off. "Overseer, she is telling the truth. I can vouch for her." "Your vouching means nothing, maintenance worker. The child broke protocol. There are consequences." Lucy followed the Vorn through winding corridors. Her heart pounded, but she kept breathing steady. This was not the first time she had been in trouble for helping others. They entered Cargo Bay 7. Massive containers stretched toward the ceiling. A service platform hung above a deep pit where the industrial cargo press operated. "Stand there." Holt pointed to a spot near the press. Lucy obeyed, confusion mixing with fear. "Overseer, I did not steal anything. I did not damage anything." "You are human. Your species does not understand boundaries or respect. You take jobs meant for your betters. You breed too quickly. You ask too many questions." Holt moved to a control panel. "The galaxy would be improved with fewer of you." The words hit Lucy like a physical blow. She had heard insults before, but this was different. This was hatred delivered with casual certainty. "Overseer Holt, please. I am sorry if I caused problems. I will not do it again." "You are correct, you will not." The Vorn pressed a button. Safety restraints shot from the floor, wrapping around Lucy's ankles. The cargo press above began to descend. "Wait, stop, please." Lucy pulled at the restraints. The press was massive, designed to compress damaged ships into recyclable cubes. David's voice screamed from the bay entrance. "Lucy, no, halt, you monster, stop it." Lucy looked toward her father. He was behind a security door, pounding on the transparent metal. Holt must have locked it remotely. The press kept descending. Lucy realized with horrible clarity that this was really happening. The Vorn was going to kill her for the crime of being human. "Dad, I love you," she called out. Her voice was steady. She would not give Holt the satisfaction of hearing her beg. The press came down. David Bennett's screams echoed in the cargo bay long after the machinery fell silent. Tikla found David hours later, sitting outside the bay. The security door had finally opened. Inside, a cleanup crew was washing the floor. The young Churik said nothing. She simply sat beside the human, wrapping 2 of her legs around his shoulders. Station authorities logged the incident as an unfortunate accident. The official report stated that Lucy Bennett had entered a restricted area and triggered automated safety systems. Overseer Holt filed a complaint about cleanup costs and delays. The Vorn government sent a standard compensation payment to David Bennett. 500 credits for damaged property. That was the official value of a human child's life. David sat in his small quarters that night. His hands shook as he activated an encrypted communication channel, one he had not used in 15 years. The face that appeared on screen was older now, hair gray at the temples. "David, what is wrong?" "They killed her, Marcus. They killed Lucy, called it an accident." His voice broke. "They paid me 500 credits." The man on screen went very still. "Are you certain you want to make this call? Once I relay this, there is no going back." David thought of his daughter's last words, thought of her courage, thought of the contempt in Holt's voice. "Tell them it is time. Tell them the rules no longer apply. Tell them we are done pretending." Marcus nodded slowly. "Condition terminus, I will send the signal." The communication ended. David sat in darkness, holding a picture of Lucy at her 10th birthday. She was laughing, covered in frosting. Across the station, human workers received encrypted messages. Their faces changed, expressions hardening. They went about their duties as normal, but something fundamental had shifted. In deep space, relay stations began transmitting a signal that would reach every corner of the galaxy. 5 words, repeated endlessly. Condition terminus, rules are void. The killing of Lucy Bennett would be remembered as the day the galaxy learned what humans had been hiding for 3 centuries. For now, the station continued normal operations. Aliens bought and sold, ships docked and departed. Lucy's death was already forgotten by everyone except the humans. And the humans were no longer pretending to forget anything. Resignation letters arrived simultaneously across 40 star systems. Human employees submitted identical requests for immediate departure. No explanations, no complaints, just a simple statement that they were returning to Earth. Dr. Churik Whistlebrook taught xenobiology at the Academy of Galactic Sciences. Her best student was a human named Robert Chen. When he appeared at her office carrying an empty storage container, she felt immediate concern. "Robert, what are you doing?" He was deleting files from his terminal, years of research vanishing with each keystroke. "I am sorry, Professor, I have to leave." "Leave, but your dissertation is nearly complete. You are going to present next month." "I know," he would not meet her compound eyes. "I cannot stay." "Is this about the Bennett incident, the human child on Meridian Crossing?" "Please do not ask me questions I cannot answer." He finished wiping the terminal. "You have been a wonderful teacher. I hope you never understand why I had to do this." Before she could respond, he was gone. Whistlebrook checked the registry. Every human enrolled at the Academy had withdrawn within 6 hours. At the Galactic Council station, Ambassador Patricia Ockhaffer interrupted a debate about trade regulations. The human representative was known for her patience and diplomatic skill. Today she simply stood and spoke. "Earth recalls its citizens. We will no longer participate in galactic affairs. This session is concluded." The Vorn delegate gestured dismissively. "Ambassador, we are in the middle of important negotiations. You cannot simply leave." "I can and I am." Ockhaffer gathered her documents. "Goodbye. I hope your civilization learns something from this." She walked out. Council members looked at each other in confusion, but most dismissed it as a minor diplomatic incident. Admiral Grothar of the Dulmer Fleet noticed the pattern first. 43 humans served in various positions throughout his forces. Good workers, everyone. "Admiral, we have a problem." His tactical officer was a slug-like Dulmer named Kethryn. "All human personnel have requested emergency transfers." "All of them?" "Yes, Admiral. The requests came in within a 6-hour window. They cite family emergencies but provide no details." Grothar studied the personnel files. Engineers, medical staff, communications specialists, even Marines. "Approve the transfers, but I want to speak with them first." The humans assembled in the shuttle bay. Grothar studied their faces. No fear, no anger, just quiet determination. "I have approved your transfers," he said. But I would like to know why. Have we treated you poorly? A human engineer named Sarah spoke for the group. No, Admiral, you have been fair and honorable. We are grateful for our time serving with you. Then why leave so suddenly? Sarah glanced at her companions. A child was killed, Admiral, murdered by a Vorn security officer on a trade station. The authorities called it an accident and paid her father 500 credits. That is what our lives are worth to the galaxy. I heard about that incident. It was terrible, but surely. It was not an accident. Sarah's voice was flat. And it was not the first time. We kept hoping things would improve. We were wrong. What will you do? That is not our decision to make anymore. Sarah handed him a data chip. Thank you for treating us like equals. I hope you remember that in the coming days. The humans boarded their transport. As it departed, the youngest Marine turned back. Admiral Grothar, you are a good leader, thank you. The transport left. Grothar stood alone, turning the data chip in his appendages. Something felt wrong. If humans were leaving, there was a reason beyond grief. Transport ships from human colonies began appearing at rendezvous points. Old civilian vessels, nothing threatening. They traveled in organized convoys toward Sol system. Alien traffic control logged them without concern. David Bennett sat in the passenger section of a transport from Meridian Crossing. 37 people total, all humans who had worked the station. Tickla's parent, a Churek named Skitter, had come to see them off. The insectoid approached David nervously. Will you return? I do not know. That decision is not mine to make. My child cries for Lucy. They were friends. I know, David's voice was hollow. Tell Tickla that Lucy loved her. Tell her that what happened was not the fault of children. What will happen now? David looked at the receding station. For 89 years, humans have been part of the galactic community. We followed your laws. We accepted your judgment. We tried to believe we could earn respect through patience. He turned to face the Churek. My daughter's death proved we were wrong. The galaxy will never see us as equals through kindness alone. So now they will learn what we have been hiding. The transport jumped to faster-than-light travel. Meridian Crossing disappeared. In deep space, monitoring stations detected an enormous encrypted transmission from Sol system. It propagated through the network at impossible speeds. Alien cryptographers tried to break the encryption and failed. A Vorn analyst reviewed the data. It is just a recall beacon for their scattered population, nothing concerning. The analyst was wrong. The message was 5 words long, and every human understood it perfectly. Condition terminus, rules are void. On 73 different worlds, humans stopped what they were doing. Some smiled grimly, others simply nodded. A few cried quietly. They had spent nearly a century trying to fit into galactic civilization, trying to prove they belonged, trying to earn a place through merit. Lucy Bennett's murder had ended that experiment. Now the galaxy would see what humanity had built while pretending to be harmless newcomers. They would learn that peaceful and powerless were not the same thing. And they would understand that pushing the gentle to the edge was the most dangerous mistake any civilization could make. Fleet Commander Prism did not believe in luck, but finding an uncharted nebula seemed like a gift. The Vorn exploratory fleet had been searching for mining opportunities for months. Now sensors detected massive metallic structures hidden in the glowing clouds. Move closer, Prism ordered. Activate deep scan protocols. 3 Vorn ships approached carefully. Ancient ruins or abandoned technology would be valuable discoveries. As they drew nearer, the nebula began to thin. Prism's sensor officer made a confused sound. Commander, I am detecting active power signatures. These structures are not ruins. Explain. The metallic readings match modern shipbuilding materials, but the quantities are enormous. It would take decades to accumulate this much. The nebula parted completely. What emerged made Prism's crystalline body flash with shock. A shipyard, not small but massive, stretching across hundreds of kilometers. Hundreds of warships floated in organized rows. The completed vessels were unlike anything in the known galaxy. The lead ship was 12 kilometers long. Weapons systems covered its hull in configurations that made no tactical sense. "Identify those vessels," Prism commanded. The sensor officer worked frantically. "Commander, the computer cannot match these designs to any known species, but the energy signatures match human technology." "That is impossible. Human ships are small patrol craft." "I am certain, Commander, these are human vessels." Prism felt something close to fear. The galaxy's records showed Earth with only 40 registered defense ships. This was a battle fleet that could challenge any major power. "Transmit all data to Vorn High Command immediately. Maximum priority." The transmission reached the Vorn homeworld within hours. Emergency committees formed. Within a day, every major government had received copies. The Galactic Council convened in emergency session. Representatives from 200 species crowded the chamber. Crystalline Premier Vertex addressed the assembly. "The evidence is clear. Humans have been constructing a secret military fleet in violation of treaties." A Dulmer delegate raised an appendage. "With respect, Premier, humans are not bound by the military limitation treaties. They never signed them." "A technicality. They deliberately concealed their capacity." "Or perhaps we never bothered to ask." The voice belonged to Dr. Churik Whistlebrook. "May I present my findings?" The council granted permission. Whistlebrook activated a holographic display. "Our official records state that humans achieved faster-than-light travel 89 years ago and immediately sought membership." She changed the display. "However, I found something interesting. 340 years ago, a Churik exploration vessel detected unusual transmissions near Sol's system. We noted it and moved on." Another image appeared. 251 years ago, a pirate fleet near the Outer Rim sent a distress call. Their message was cut off. The last words were, "Unknown vessels emerging. Weapons do not match any known species. Who are these?" The transmission ended. The pirates were never heard from again. The council chamber fell silent. Whistlebrook continued. "I found 127 similar incidents over the next 250 years, all in deep space, all near human territory, all suppressed or forgotten." She displayed a star chart. Humans were in space for 251 years before official contact. They encountered at least 14 other species, most hostile. They defeated all of them in battles we never knew happened. Crystalline Premier Vertex tried to regain control. "This proves they are dangerous." "Does it?" Whistlebrook's antennae quivered. "Or does it prove they learned the galaxy respects strength more than kindness? We spent 89 years treating them as minor players. We never investigated their capabilities because we never cared. A human child was murdered 3 weeks ago and we dismissed it. Perhaps we should have paid attention." The council erupted in arguments. Some demanded military action, others called for diplomacy. A transmission interrupted the debate. It came from Earth. A woman in a simple military uniform appeared on all screens. "I am Admiral Rebecca Stone, Earth Defense Coordination. For 89 years, humanity has participated in galactic civilization. We followed your laws, we respected your cultures, we sought peaceful coexistence." Her expression was cold. "One of our children has been murdered. Her death was dismissed as meaningless. The creature responsible walks free. Her father was paid 500 credits as if his daughter was broken equipment. We withdraw from all treaties." At the Galactic Council station, Ambassador Patricia Ockhaffer interrupted a debate about trade regulations. The human representative was known for her patience and diplomatic skill. Today she simply stood and spoke. "Earth recalls its citizens. We will no longer participate in galactic affairs. This session is concluded." The Vorn delegate gestured dismissively. "Ambassador, we are in the middle of important negotiations. You cannot simply leave." "I can and I am." Ockhaffer gathered her documents. Goodbye, I hope your civilization learns something from this. She walked out. Council members looked at each other in confusion, but most dismissed it as a minor diplomatic incident. Admiral Grothar of the Dulmer Fleet noticed the pattern first. 43 humans served in various positions throughout his forces. Good workers, everyone. Admiral, we have a problem. His tactical officer was a slug-like Dulmer named Kethrin. All human personnel have requested emergency transfers. All of them? Yes, Admiral. The requests came in within a 6-hour window. They cite family emergencies but provide no details. Grothar studied the personnel files. Engineers, medical staff, communications specialists, even Marines. Approve the transfers, but I want to speak with them first. The humans assembled in the shuttle bay. Grothar studied their faces. No fear, no anger, just quiet determination. I have approved your transfers, he said, but I would like to know why. Have we treated you poorly? A human engineer named Sarah spoke for the group. No, Admiral, you have been fair and honorable. We are grateful for our time serving with you. Then why leave so suddenly? Sarah glanced at her companions. A child was killed, Admiral, murdered by a Vorn security officer on a trade station. The authorities called it an accident and paid her father 500 credits. That is what our lives are worth to the galaxy. I heard about that incident. It was terrible, but surely. It was not an accident. Sarah's voice was flat. And it was not the first time. We kept hoping things would improve. We were wrong. What will you do? That is not our decision to make anymore. Sarah handed him a data chip. Thank you for treating us like equals. I hope you remember that in the coming days. The humans boarded their transport. As it departed, the youngest Marine turned back. Admiral Grothar, you are a good. Calm, I have served alongside humans. They were loyal, competent, and honorable. What does it say about us that our first response is violence? The question went unanswered. The coalition fleet departed, confident in their numerical superiority. Dr. Whistlebrook worked through the night. Something nagged at her about the timeline. Humans had been in space for 340 years, but only made contact 89 years ago. What happened during those missing centuries? She pulled up every mention of unexplained incidents, pirates disappearing, survey vessels vanishing, raider fleets going silent. When she plotted them on a star chart, a pattern emerged. All incidents occurred within 200 light-years of Sol system. All happened during humanity's silent period. All involved groups that posed threats to isolated colonies. They were not hiding, Whistlebrook whispered. They were defending. We never noticed because we never cared about the outer regions. She sent her findings to the Churek High Council. We are making a terrible mistake. The humans have been preparing to defend themselves from the galaxy. There is a difference. The Churek withdrew from the coalition. 6 smaller species followed, but the Vorn pressed forward. David Bennett arrived at Luna Station with thousands of other civilians. The transport docked at a facility carved into the moon's surface. Armed guards directed them through processing with surprising gentleness. A human officer greeted David personally. Mr. Bennett, I am Captain Morris. I am very sorry for your loss. Thank you, David's voice was hollow. Morris led him to an observation deck. Hundreds of other families gathered there, all looking down at something that took David's breath away. A warship floated in lunar orbit, easily 15 kilometers long, covered in weapons and armor. The hull was dark gray, almost black with sharp angular lines. The UHNS Reckoning, Morris explained. We began construction 140 years ago. We hoped we would never need to launch her. David stared. How many ships do we have? What the galaxy detected is roughly 40% of our actual fleet. The rest remains hidden. Why tell me this? Morris gestured to the other families. Because you deserve to know what your losses meant. Every name on that memorial wall represents our failure to protect our people. 3,000 humans killed. Over 89 years. A wall display showed the names. David found Lucy's near the bottom. Above her were thousands of others. "We are not asking you to fight," Morris continued. "But we want you to understand what we are fighting for, not conquest, not revenge, just the right for our people to live without fear." Admiral Stone addressed the assembled fleet from the Reckoning's bridge. Over 10,000 warships floated in formation. "For 89 years we have played the role of friendly newcomer. We smiled when insulted. We accepted unfair terms. We endured casual cruelty. We did this because we hoped patience would earn us a place among the stars." Her voice hardened. "Lucy Bennett's murder proved we were wrong. The galaxy will never respect us through kindness alone. They need to see what we are capable of." She activated a fleet-wide command. "Launch Protocol Lighthouse, let them see." Across the galaxy, human vessels deactivated their stealth systems. Long-range sensors suddenly detected ships everywhere. In asteroid fields, hidden in nebulae, lurking in the void between stars. Not 40 ships, not 10,000. Over 100,000 warships revealed themselves simultaneously. At Rally Point Epsilon, Fleet Commander Prism received sensor reports. His crystalline body flashed with alarm. "This is impossible. Where did they all come from?" His tactical officer provided the answer. "Commander, these vessels have been stationed throughout the galaxy for decades, possibly centuries. They have always been there, we just never saw them." The coalition fleet suddenly seemed very small. 3,000 ships against 100,000. Prism received an urgent message from Crystalline Premier Vertex. "New intelligence suggests the human fleet is far larger than anticipated. However, we cannot show weakness. Proceed as planned." Prism looked at sensor displays showing the vast human fleet. He thought about Ambassador Ockhaffer's eyes when she left the council. He remembered Dr. Whistlebrook's warning. "All ships maintain course for Sol system," he ordered. But for the first time in his career, Fleet Commander Prism wondered if following orders was the same as doing the right thing. The coalition fleet crossed into human-claimed space with confidence that evaporated within hours. Fleet Commander Prism expected defensive positions, fortified stations, some indication of where humans planned their stand. Instead, sensors showed empty space. 3,000 ships advanced unopposed, pushing deeper toward Sol system. The silence was more unnerving than any show of force. "Commander, I do not like this." His tactical officer studied displays nervously. "Where are they?" "Maintain formation, stay alert." 20 light-years from Sol, reality shifted. One moment the coalition sailed through empty void. The next, they were surrounded. Human warships appeared on every side. Above, below, port, starboard, forward, aft. 9,000 vessels in a perfect sphere formation, the coalition trapped at the center. Prism's sensor board lit up with warnings. "Commander, our targeting systems cannot achieve lock. The human ships are phasing in and out of normal space." "What does that mean?" "Their stealth technology is not just masking signatures. They are manipulating spacetime itself." A transmission reached every coalition ship simultaneously. Admiral Stone appeared on their screens. "You came here believing yourselves the superior force. You were mistaken." Her voice carried no anger, just cold fact. "Look at your sensors, study your tactical situation. We could end this engagement in 11 minutes, but we will not." She leaned forward. "Every species in your fleet has served alongside humans. We have shared meals, stories, and dangers. We do not want to kill you. Stand down. Return home. Tell your governments what you witnessed." Fleet Commander Prism faced an impossible choice. Military doctrine demanded he fight. Pride demanded he fight. But tactical analysis screamed that fighting was suicide. He opened a private channel to other coalition commanders. "Assessment, can we win?" A Dulmer captain responded first. "Negative, Commander. Every vessel in our fleet has at least 3 human warships targeting it. Our point defense cannot track their weapons." Another voice joined. "My technical officer served with humans before. She says some ship classes were theoretical designs from 200 years ago. They actually built them. Prism looked at his options. Fight and die proving nothing, or retreat and face humiliation. Admiral Stone, this is Fleet Commander Prism. We request clarification. If we withdraw, will you pursue? No, you are free to leave. This is not an invasion force. This is a defensive perimeter. You crossed our boundary. Leave safely. Before Prism could respond, his communications officer interrupted. Commander, we are receiving a demonstration. The human fleet fired. Thousands of weapons discharged simultaneously, but not at coalition ships. Every shot converged on a single 0.5 million kilometers away. A small asteroid, unremarkable and distant. The energy readings were astronomical. Then the asteroid simply ceased to exist. No explosion, no debris. The rock was converted to elementary particles. Admiral Stone's voice returned. That was 3% power on conventional weapons. We have others we have not shown you. You cannot win this engagement. 5 coalition species immediately broke formation. They had seen enough. Their ships turned and began the journey home. Prism received an urgent transmission from Crystalline Premier Vertex. The Premier's usual arrogance had vanished. Fleet Commander, our scouts have found human installations inside Vorn territory. Some have been there for over a century. They could have struck us at any time. Vertex paused. Withdraw the fleet. We have miscalculated. Prism gave the order he never thought he would give. All vessels, reverse course. We are returning to base. The coalition ships turned away from Sol's system. As they did, the human vessels simply parted, creating a clear corridor. Not a single shot fired in anger. But everyone knew what had happened. Earth had won without fighting. From the Reckoning's observation deck, David Bennett watched the alien fleet withdraw. Captain Morris stood beside him. Disappointed we did not fight? Morris asked. David shook his head. No, Lucy would not want people to die for her. She just wanted to be safe. Justice is not always about punishment. Sometimes it is about making sure it never happens again. Below them, more human ships continued to decloak. The fleet was even larger than the coalition suspected. Dr. Whistlebrook released her complete research to the Galactic Public Network. 300 years of suppressed incidents. Patterns of contempt toward humans. 3,000 deaths never investigated. Her conclusion was devastating. We created this situation through centuries of negligence. The humans did not become dangerous. They were always capable of this. We simply never bothered to notice. The document spread across the galaxy within hours. Public opinion shifted rapidly. On the Vorn homeworld, protests erupted demanding accountability. The Galactic Council reconvened in emergency session. The chamber's atmosphere had changed completely. Ambassador Ockhaffer returned, flanked by representatives from 40 smaller species. She addressed the assembly with quiet authority. Earth's demands remain unchanged. Justice for Lucy Bennett, legal reforms protecting all sapient beings, formal apology from the Vorn government. You have 30 days. And if we refuse? Crystalline Premier Vertex asked, though his tone suggested he knew the answer. Then we withdraw completely. We will enforce our borders with absolute force. Any ship, any species, any reason. You will never enter human space again. And judging from what you have seen, we have the capacity to make that permanent. The council dissolved into debate, but the smaller species remained silent. They had waited a long time for someone to stand up to the major powers. Now Earth had done exactly that, and the galaxy would never be the same. 4 months after Lucy Bennett's death, Crystalline Overseer Holt stood in a courtroom on a Churek judicial station. The trial was broadcast across the galaxy, billions watching as evidence played on displays. Station security footage showed everything. Lucy asking about retrieving a toy, Holt's contemptuous response, the activation of the cargo press, the murder of a child captured in terrible detail. The defense argued accident and protocol violations. The prosecution presented testimony from workers, security logs, and Lucy's father. David Bennett spoke for 20 minutes about his daughter, her kindness, her friendship with Tikla, her dreams. When he finished, even some Vorn in the gallery looked away. The verdict came after 3 days. Guilty of negligent manslaughter and abuse of authority, 40 years in a rehabilitation facility. It was the first time a Vorn official faced consequences for killing someone they considered inferior. David Bennett watched from the gallery. Tears streamed down his face, but he felt no satisfaction. Lucy was still gone. Justice could not bring her back. But it could prevent other fathers from experiencing the same loss. The Galactic Council passed the Sentient Protection Accords in a historic vote. Every sapient being would have equal protection under galactic law. An independent enforcement body would investigate cross-species incidents with actual authority. The humans surprised everyone by refusing leadership positions. Instead, they nominated representatives from smaller species who understood oppression firsthand. Dr. Whistlebrook became the first chief investigator. I will not let the galaxy forget. Lucy Bennett's death will mean something. It has too. On the Vorn homeworld, the government underwent massive restructuring. Crystalline Premier Vertex resigned in disgrace. They issued a formal apology to Earth and established reparations for all 3,000 documented cases. Vorn educational systems began teaching equality and empathy. It was painful, forcing an entire species to confront their casual cruelty. But genuine change required pain. Admiral Stone gave her final address before retiring. She stood on the Reckoning's bridge. We have been exploring space for 340 years. We encountered 14 species before the galactic community. 7 tried to conquer or enslave us. We defeated them all quietly where no one knew. She paused. We learned the galaxy respects strength more than kindness, so we became strong. But we never forgot how to be kind. When we joined openly, we hoped things would be different. For 89 years, we tried to believe. Lucy Bennett's death showed us the truth, but her death also gave us the opportunity to change the galaxy. Not through conquest, but through demanding that every life has value. That is her legacy. The human fleet did not disband. Earth announced it would maintain military presence with a new purpose: protecting species that could not protect themselves. When pirates attacked defenseless colonies, human ships arrived within hours. When slavers raided vulnerable populations, human vessels intervened. The galaxy's greatest military power became its greatest guardian. David Bennett chose a new path. He joined the Human Diplomatic Corps, working with families across the galaxy who had lost loved ones to injustice. He carried Lucy's picture everywhere. His first speech to grieving families included words he had practiced for weeks. My daughter died because the galaxy did not value her life. We cannot bring back the ones we lost, but we can make sure no other parent stands where I stood. The Churuk became Earth's closest allies. Dr. Whistlebrook's research and the species' natural empathy created bonds that strengthened over decades. Tikla, Lucy's friend, grew up to become a specialist in human-alien relations. She always kept a picture of herself and Lucy. The Dulmers strengthened military cooperation with Earth. Admiral Grothar's final report was simple. We served alongside the best. They were always among us. We simply failed to recognize it. 20 years later, a new generation of Vorn grew up learning about the Bennett incident. Lucy's story became central to ethics education. A Vorn student named Clarity wrote a thesis titled, How One Human Child Changed Our Civilization. Her conclusion resonated. We mistook gentleness for weakness. We confused patience with acceptance of injustice. We learned the difference too late for Lucy Bennett, but not too late for ourselves. On Luna, a monument was erected listing all 3,000 humans killed throughout galactic space. Lucy Bennett's name sat at the center because her death had been the catalyst. Beside it stood a larger memorial listing victims from all species. The inscription read, They should have lived. We remember them by building a galaxy where all can live safely. Admiral Stone retired after 15 years. In her final classified briefing, she revealed something known only to a select few. The fleet we showed represents 40% of our actual strength. The rest remains hidden. We revealed enough to earn respect. We kept the rest to ensure we never need it. Let them believe they know what we are capable of. The truth would terrify them. 30 years after Lucy's death, human children attended schools with alien classmates taught to value all life equally. When a young human girl befriended a Vorn child, it made galactic news. David Bennett, now elderly, watched the broadcast from his home on Luna. He looked at Lucy's picture from her 10th birthday where she was laughing. "You changed everything, sweetheart," he whispered. "They finally see us, they finally see everyone." The galaxy had learned a hard lesson. Humanity's greatest weapon was not their fleet or technology. It was their unwavering conviction that every life had value, combined with absolute willingness to enforce that principle. Earth's secret fleet still patrolled the void, but when the vulnerable cried out, human ships would emerge from darkness. The galaxy had become safer, built on the foundation of one child's death and her father's refusal to let that death be meaningless. Lucy Bennett never knew she would change the stars, but her memory became the light. That guided the galaxy toward something better.